Another Massachusetts affidavit. Charlene R. Chapman. On July the 3rd, 1994, I arrived home with Ray Roger, Lionel Sr. and son Lionel Jr., and Kathy of Lynn, my daughter Elaine, and Gary Legacy, and arrived home between 5:30 to 6. We were home about 10 minutes when I heard Rita yelling from a second-floor window, "Call the police. My ex-husband beat me up." Ray called the cops. They came, talked with her, and then left. I didn't see any sign of the ex-husband. I've lived here 7 years. I've never seen the ex-husband. I wouldn't know him if I tripped over him. Sometime after the police left, Gary and Lionel Jr. came out to the backyard and said there was a horrible smell in the second-floor hallway. Ray went up with Gary and Lionel Jr., and there was a cat in the toilet. It was brought down, and Lionel Jr. and Kathy took pictures of it. Later that night, about 8 o'clock, I went upstairs to check the hallway and saw writing on the wall right across from Rita's door. Something like, "I love you." The previous time I was up there was earlier that day when I was upstairs to check on one of our tenants. There was no writing on the wall then. At about 10:30 that night, Rita came out to the back stairs, said the ex-husband had killed her cat and was out to kill her too. "He got the cat, now he's going to get me," she said. We came in the house and she went upstairs. One evening after the cat incident, we were in the yard and Rita said as she was coming back from the store that the ex-husband had picked her up and took her to the boatyard, raped her twice, and then dropped her off on Broadway, and she walked home. That was July the 3rd. She was sitting on the ground and crying. She was holding her crotch, saying, "He got me again. No one's going to touch me down there anymore. I have to keep it on ice for my ex-husband." I saw a lump in the front of her shorts, and Ed, her boyfriend, said, "I'll kill the bastard." He reached down and pulled out a can of Budweiser from beneath her underwear and threw it over the fence. She had been drinking. I could smell it. I've been a bartender for years, and I know. She and Ed went upstairs. I followed behind Ed because he said he couldn't control her. As soon as we got in the room, she pulled her pants down, leaned over the bed, and asked me to check her, saying this is where the ex-husband put it. I told her I wasn't a doctor. I called the Women's Resource Center for her, but there was no answer. I suggested she go to the hospital, and she told me to forget it. Ray called the ambulance, but she refused to go with them.